Welcome to another edition of The Nate Moore Show. Our show is brought to you each week by Reliable Heating and Cooling. I'm your host, Aaron Joy. Joining me is Coach Moore. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, Aaron.
Coach, your Tigers are now 7-2 after shutting out Worcester 31-0. Last Friday night, your team jumps out to a quick lead in this one. Tell us more about this game.
Well, the wind was a big factor in that game, and honestly, the play of the game might have been the coin toss. We got to start with the wind, and we played well defensively. We knew that we were going to overmatch them with our defensive line. They'd have to throw the ball, and the quarterback was pretty good, and so it was tough sledding into the wind. And then, we get to kick with the wind. They have to kick into the wind, and that was really the factor in that first quarter.
Your Tigers continue to make big plays on special teams. Have you had any teams in the past that have had this kind of success on special teams?
I mean, I'd say we've had a lot of success on special teams in general. Austin Brawley's been really special in what he's done over the course of the year. In all three phases, but special teams as well.
And then on offense, you've coached teams that have had a long tradition of success running the football. After the first 9 games this year, the Tigers have nearly doubled their opponents in rushing yards. You must be pretty proud of that.
Well, I'd say, yes and no. I mean, part of it is, you do what it takes to win within a game. Like we don't really go into anything saying, we need to run for this amount of yards or throw for this amount of yards, because there's so many variables that occur. Like anybody that thinks they can predict stuff like that is a liar. But in the same breath, being able to run the football is important to us, just like being able to throw the football is important to us. And we want to be a tough, physical, downhill running team, and that's important to us. So the amount of yards we produce, not so important as being efficient when we run the football and picking up and making the plays that are there to be made. Mm-hmm. For instance, when it's 3rd and 2, a 3-yard run's pretty good. You know what I mean? So, an actual game's a lot more nuanced than that.
And when you do throw the ball on offensive, Junior Ardell Banks lead the teams with 25 catches and 6 of those being touchdowns. What can you tell me more about Ardell?
Ardell's probably our most improved player. He's practiced his way into that. At the beginning of the year, he's a tall, long receiver, and he has some speed, and but can you put all those things together and make plays on the ball, and be tough when you need to be tough, and so there's just a lot of question marks, I think, going into the actual season, and he's improved himself because he's come to work every day and absolutely practice his heart out. That's how you get better. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, if you don't practice hard, you're not going to get any better. And I think maybe one of the things that makes it unique or special, one of those two things, is the fact that you're at a position where maybe there's some guys that play in that position typically where practicing hard doesn't come quite as naturally to them, mm-hmm. if they're talented also. Not Ardell Banks. He's practiced hard right from the jump and improved drastically and turned himself into a great receiver.
And then in your last 4 games, the Tiger defense has given up less than 13 points a game. And what areas have you seen the most improvement from your defense?
I mean, we just don't like that's not something that we sit back and evaluate. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we're trying to win, right? And you're playing different teams every week, and they may have different offensive styles, but at the very least, they have different players in those positions. Like there's so many variables like that, and we end one week, and we're on to the next week, trying to do the best we can against a new opponent. So we're not, like looking and comparing our different, have our corners improve more than our linebackers or whatnot. You know what I mean? Like we just really don't really, look at things like that. I would say that as a group, I think we've improved as a group as we've gone through the year, just because, similar to the Ardell Banks stories, we practice hard, and that's how you get better. There was a period of time in the middle of the year where, we were dealing with some injuries, and when you don't have as many good players with the proper level of physicality in practice, it's harder to have a real tough physical practice, right? And I thought, I wouldn't say we took a step back, but once we got healthy again, there was a drastic improvement in the intensity of practice. Mm-hmm. Right? And so like those are the things that we notice, you know what I mean? And that was noticeable, right? Then when those guys got back and we were able to actually have, really good, hard, tough physical practices, we're going to play better football. Because, if you're going against somebody in practice that's just not very good, then, you get away with sloppy technique. You get away with not keeping your hips down, things like that, and all of a sudden you think you're pretty good, and then you get out in a game, and you're lining up against somebody that's pretty good, right? And they're going to knock you all over the field, and you're going to wonder, well, what happened? Mm-hmm. I mean, I looked pretty good in practice,
right?
Right. I mean, that's why that having that level of competition in practice is so important. So across the board, like the more players that we have in practice, not just talking like our starters, like the guys that are on the scout. We don't have a scout team. Like it's like the next best. Like next best, we need you in there. And the more guys we have like that, and we're able to, iron sharpens iron. We're able to get after it. I mean, that's when we're going to play well.
And then in a moment, we'll talk with the Tiger player. But first, this word from Reliable Heating and Cooling.
There was a time when 10 miles to the gallon was acceptable. Today's 40-plus mile per gallon cars weren't even in the rearview mirror back then. Of course, this Lennox air conditioner wasn't on the radar either. It's solar ready, the quietest, most energy-efficient air conditioner you can own. It's time to live in the now.
Call Reliable Heating and Cooling for the most advanced technology in heating and air conditioning. When you're ready to live in the now, call Reliable Heating and Cooling.
Lennox, innovation never felt so good.
Thank you, Reliable Heating and Cooling. Joining me now is junior running back Wiltrell Hartson. Wiltrell, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let's go back a little bit now. How old were you when you first started playing football, and who taught you the game?
4 years old, and my brothers, I lived with all brothers, so I used to watch them play and wanted to play. So they taught me.
And as a running back on the Tiger offense, describe some of the skills that are necessary to be successful.
You got to be disciplined and make sure you learning and helping, and you got to just know the plays and make sure you don't have a big ego.
You played against McKinley last year as a sophomore and had an outstanding game. What are some things that you remember about last year's game?
The first play running for 60 yards, and then me scoring twice. It was a good game. I started after that because I didn't know I was going to play that game, but I stepped in and handled it right and did the right thing.
And then, as what some might think of the leader, what is your message to your teammates to get you ready for this week?
To make sure you stay focused and make sure you're watching film and knowing the right keys and to be great.
Thanks, Wiltrell. Coach Moore will rejoin us after we take this timeout on the Nate Moore Show.
Baby, you see, you're so right for me, and I'm right for you. I love the things you do, like sweet tasting wine. Your lips are so divine. Your loving turns me on. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go. Baby, never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Nate Moore Show. Coach, we just spoke with junior running back Wiltrell Hartson. He burst on the scene late last season and has been an important part of your rushing attack ever since. What has Wiltrell meant for your football team this year?
I mean, Wiltrell's been a great player for us, but more than that, he's a leader. He's one of our unit leaders, our only junior unit leader. So that says a lot about how everybody feels about him, and he is actually a leader. Like he's not that because he ran for 1,000 yards last year. Like that's not why you're a unit leader, right? Wiltrell's a guy where, we've got some other guys that work hard and practice hard, and we've talked about them, but there's nobody that works harder than Wiltrell. There's some guys that work as hard as Wiltrell maybe, but there's nobody that works harder. The guy puts it in, especially in the off season. He's pushing his body to the limit often. So he helps set the standard of work ethic, right? And commitment to a goal, right? It's one thing to say like that you have a goal to something. It's a whole different thing to do the things that are necessary to achieve that goal, right? And a lot of times people that aren't willing to do that like to sit around and, talk about how they woulda, coulda, shoulda if they had been in that position where, in fact, all they had to do was go out and work hard, right? I mean, that's, maybe some people don't realize how rare that is or don't want to admit how rare that is, but that's rare, no matter what the goal is. So, Wiltrell means a lot to us.
And then this week, as you know, is like no other. It's the 10th week of the season, and that means it's McKinley week. What does this week, the game and the rivalry, mean to you?
I mean, it means absolutely everything. We just came from Touchdown Club and had the kids tell stories about their favorite Massillon McKinley memory, and I talked about some of mine, and I won't bore you with all those, but you can't be a part of this and not realize how important this is to our community, to our city, to our alumni, to our football program, to our school, right? To all our band and our cheerleaders, all of our organizations. You know, people don't spend a weekend, you know, wallpapering a building with 1,200 students in it, floor to ceiling for nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, this is probably important. Like this means something. So, yeah, I mean, it's hugely important, and it is every year. And you know, it's an honor to be a part of it, and it's an honor to take the field with our kids on a Saturday.
And then when you look at this version of the Bulldogs from this year, what do you see?
A very good team. It was 6-3 record. They've won 6 out of the last 7 games. They're the number 3 rated team in Division I, Region 1. Very talented in skill positions. They've got 2 receivers / defensive backs that are excellent. Sincere McNeil, number 10, and Harold Fannin, number 5. You know, they're both 6'3", 6'4". You know, the Fannin is a little bigger. He's about 220 pounds. Sincere's probably more like 200. But they're excellent players, play on both sides of the ball. They're a, you know, threat to score. And anytime they're singled up offensively, and they're a huge part of their defense, you know, especially the coverages. Steadily improving on the offensive line. You know, it was a real weakness for them at the beginning of the season. Now I think it's a pretty strong group. They've added a couple pieces. They've got 2 excellent running backs. They've got 2 good quarterbacks that share time, and both are good runners. And defensively, they're a unit that plays really hard. You know, we already talked a little bit about their secondary. It's probably the strength of their defense. Good group of linebackers, read well, obviously well coached, tackle well. The defensive line is a little bit undersized, but they get off the ball. They absolutely get after it. They've really improved throughout the year about playing with their hands and getting extension. But they come off the ball hard. They make plays. You know, this is a very good football team.
And then there are a lot of community and team events that take place this week. What's the key to keeping the team focused and make sure they're prepared for the game?
Well, I mean, I think the key has to do with, honestly, like how we prepare all the time. You know, we want to be one foot in front of the other all the time. We want to live where our feet are all the time, right? We don't look ahead ever, right? I mean, that's just kind of who we are and who we train to be, and we train to, you know, with Coach Stu in the weight room, we're training mental toughness as much as we're training, or more. Probably 90% mental toughness is actually what we're training. You know, the physical stuff is really an auxiliary to that, to be honest. And I mean, that's what it is. I mean, the ability to, you know, focus in on practice when you do have all these distractions going on all around you. I mean, that's mental toughness. If not, what is it? You know what I mean? It's the same thing. You know, being able to disregard pain and being able to, you know, ignore the fanfare seem like 2 totally different things, but really they're not. So, you know, I think really it's how we approach everything all the time. You can't, like, what are you going to do? You're going to give a speech about it?
Right.
You know what I mean? You're going to say, hey, guys, let's just not pay attention to any of this stuff this week, right? And these 16, 17-year-old kids, they're just going to listen, right? I mean, it don't work like that. You know what I mean? We try to make that, we try to boil that into our identity, into our DNA, I'd say.
We want to thank Coach Moore and Tiger Junior running back Wiltrell Hartson for joining us on the show this week. The Nate Moore Show has been brought to you by Reliable Heating and Cooling. I'm your host, Aaron Joy. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Tigers.
Hello, and welcome to the Stark County Humane Society. Today we're going to give you a few pointers when considering adopting a new furry friend. All animals here at the Stark County Humane Society are spayed, neutered, microchipped, vaccinated, dewormed, and if old enough, heartworm tested for our canine friends. Adopters will receive a free exam within 2 weeks of adoption at local veterinarian hospitals. We encourage all adopters to take full advantage of this. A one-time adoption fee is required for your new furry friend. When you adopt, you get an awesome adoption packet that includes treats for your new fur baby and savings for you. But this is not where the cost of adoption stops. Did you know the average cost of an animal like a new puppy or kitten can cost up to $500 annually? This includes annual veterinarian visits, preventative care, and everyday supplies like crate, litter, food, toys. But I hope this doesn't scare you away. Adopting an animal is a huge responsibility and a commitment. Please take the time to consider the cost of adopting a new pet into your family today. I hope to see you soon at the Stark County Humane Society. Please visit our website or visit us on social media for more information.
Massillon City Schools is proud to have one of the top career technical education programs in the state of Ohio, recently receiving a #1 ranking of the 93 districts in the area of achievement. Our Career Technical Education Department offers 14 pathways preparing students for college and careers. All students have the opportunity to participate and compete in their career technical student organization, as well as obtain valuable experience in the field while earning aligned industry credentials and/or college credit in high school. Visit massillonschools.org for more information.
Welcome to this week's edition of Swing, featuring Tiger Swing Band's band director Jason Neel. We're on air every Wednesday night following the Nate Moore Show. Our show is brought to you by Harvard's Tiger Wags in downtown Massillon. I'm your host, Tori Dolak, and with me is Mr. Neel. Welcome to the show, Mr. Neel.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about last week's halftime show during the Rooster game. Judging by the fans' reaction that night, the annual senior show was a big hit.
I thought that the seniors, particularly, and obviously the rest of the band doing the show, did a good job. And that was our last home game for the regular season, so it was our 7th different show, and they really pulled it off in a very short time. By the end of the season, we have the least amount of time to get these songs and shows ready, and that show came a long way. I think I told the band this from Wednesday to Friday. I don't think I've seen a farther set of improvement from Wednesday to Friday. So they did pull it off, and we were very proud that we did 7 different shows this year.
Can you share with us some of the things you were thinking about the senior band members were being honored that night?
Well, anytime I think about our seniors, I think about all of the years that they've put into this program, and I'm just very thankful that they've chosen to stick with it. Not everybody does, and partly because it's hard. We ask a lot of these students, we're learning a new show for every home game. It's a lot of music to memorize, a lot of formations to learn, and it's not easy to do that, as you probably know. So the fact that they stick with something that is so difficult just really gives me a lot of things to be grateful for. So I'm thankful that our seniors stuck with it, and I told them that before the game. And obviously this year my daughter Lauren was a senior, and it was nice to stand there with her and my wife and really enjoy that kind of from a parent's perspective, a different point of view. So it's cool to be a part of that in a different way this year. But yep, absolutely thankful to our seniors.
On Saturday night, the band traveled to Columbus to participate in the annual Buckeye Invitational at Ohio Stadium. I know you were very excited about this opportunity for your band members. Tell us more about that event.
Well, yes, very exciting. I mean, our students love to go to this particular show and perform and to see, other bands, especially the Ohio State Band, perform. I thought our kids did a good job You know, adjusting to a college field isn't always easy. Performing under the lights and the big stage like that, you know, some of those kids, in fact, you know, our sophomores and freshmen had never been there. So all things considered, I thought they did a great job. We got good comments from our adjudicators. We had some college band directors watching us and making comments about our performance, and they were very complimentary of the band. And you know, some of the Ohio State band members who were with us were very complimentary of our band, and I thought the kids did a great job on Saturday. It was a fun day.
Besides getting to perform in the famous Ohio Stadium, what are some of the other positives that come from participating in this event?
Well, I think the biggest positive for us would be getting to see other high school bands who are, you know, very, very solid, fine band programs musically, and especially getting to watch Ohio State perform. The precision, the execution and the drive that they perform with, and just how clean the music is, how great the tone sounds, how all of the details of the marching are in play there. And getting to see that live and up close is really fascinating. You know, I was in that band, I've seen that band so many times, and I never get tired of watching how precise their movements are. It's really a great thing to watch for me, but especially the students who get to see it. It kind of solidifies everything that we've been trying to teach. And, you know, we're striving to be at that elite level. And so when you see someone who's at that elite level, it really helps you to identify where you're going. And so I think it's a great learning experience for our students.
Well, we'll have more with Mr. Neel here on Swing, but first, this word from Howard's Tiger Rags.
Howard's Tiger Rags in downtown Massillon has the best selection of tiger apparel in the area. And once again, Howard's Tiger Rags is the proud sponsor of the Swing TV show on WHS-TV. Be sure to check out their large selection of infant and toddler apparel. You can even dress up your favorite pet in tiger gear. See their large selection of memorabilia along with mugs and glasses and your favorite tiger jewelry. How about a license plate holder or a tiger hat? Howard's has one to fit your style. Stop in at Howard's Tiger Rags in downtown Massillon, and don't forget to like them on Facebook.
Thank you, Howard's Tiger Rags, and welcome back to Swing. It's McKinley Week here in Massillon, and our band's very active role in many events this week. First of all, what does this week in the rivalry with McKinley mean to you and your band members?
Well, there's no words to describe this rivalry. It's a great rivalry, oldest, you know, rivalry, and just really set apart. I guess the best way I could say it. There's something so different about this week. You walk into the school, everything's decorated. The rehearsals are a little bit different. Just the climate and the culture around town is different. Everything feels different. The kickoff is at 2 o'clock. It's a day game. It feels different than any other game you're marching. So it's just so much fun to be a part of this great rivalry, and it's just exciting. I mean, there's no other way to say it.
As we record the show on Tuesday, tell us which events the band will be a part of for the rest of the week.
Well, sitting here with you on Tuesday, taping this, we had our performance last night at the Football Booster Club. We have a performance this afternoon at the Touchdown Club. We perform at the Open House on Thursday night. There's a concert in the gym. It's at 7 o'clock, which is open to the public. We have the march around town all day Friday. We go to the different elementary schools and the junior high school. We have the rally here and march through the high school, pep rally in the gym. We have a parade, Beat McKinley Parade at 7 o'clock on Friday night, and bonfire pep rally after that. And then obviously the game itself. So there's a lot going on this week. And we're just looking forward to being part of all of that. And it's fun to get to go around and spread Tiger cheer, if you will, all over and everywhere we go. So that music and the marching band has a great part of this rivalry, and we're excited for the week.
As a visiting band at Saturday's game in Canton, what does your halftime song lineup look like?
Well, this week we are going to repeat a show we did earlier in the season, and we've chosen to do our Beach Ocean show, but we're not going to take our costumes with us. We decided that there were a lot of really cool formations in that show, and the music's fun, it's exciting, it's recognizable. And by doing the show without our costumes, which we did back for our Tiger Band review, the formations, you'll actually be able to see them a little bit better, and we got a lot of cool things. You know, we've got a surfer who's wiping out on his surfboard, and a shark swimming across the field, and ships and pirates and all this fun music. So we thought that really encompassed what our season's been about. So we've had a lot of great shows, and that's the show we've chosen to do here over in Canton.
That would do it with this edition of Swing. Swing is brought to you each week by Highlands Tiger Wakes in downtown Massillon. I'm your host, Tori Dolac. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Tigers.
Bye, sweetie. I love you.
Bye, Mommy. I love you.
No matter where life takes you, MCTV helps make sure you're never far from home.
Hi. Are you being good for Daddy?
Yeah. Can we read a bedtime story?
MCTV connects you to home because that's what matters most.
Good night. Sweet dreams.
MCTV. We go the extra smile.